What is going on, beautiful people? I am Lee Hammock, the diagnosed self-aware narcissist known as mental illness, and welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how narcissism is not a new topic, how narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder or narcissists have been around for a long time, and how some of our grandparents could have been in toxic relationships. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. I don't think a lot of people realize, but some of our grandparents, some of your grandparents were in toxic relationships. And if you're new here, I'm a narcissist. I actually have narcissistic personality disorder. A lot of people think that narcissism is this new buzzword, is this new phenomenon that's going around, but it's not, y'all. It's literally been around for centuries. And a lot of people don't even realize it, but your grandma or your grandpa was in a toxic relationship or still is in a toxic relationship. A lot of people look at these long-term relationships sometimes. They're like, oh, my grandma and my grandpa were together for 50 years. But they haven't spoken for the last 20 years. They live in the same house together and they hate each other. Longevity does not always equal happiness, y'all. Some people just stayed together because it looks good. Some people stayed together because they didn't understand what they were going through. Your grandma could have been with your grandpa because he was emotionally and physically abusive, but they don't know how to leave because they don't understand what they're dealing with. Imagine your grandma getting gaslit by your grandpa or the other way around. Toxic relationships have been around for centuries and still will be around for a long time. So welcome back. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, I know you seen that little video. You see my short video and you understand the dynamic of what's going on, y'all. You understand the dynamic of that narcissism is just this new thing, this new buzzword going on. And that's the thing that kind of annoys me a little bit when I'm talking to people about it or I see it online. The detractors that don't believe that narcissism exists or is just way smaller than what it is and whatnot, was just new to describe the new word that hurt women used to describe their boyfriends who don't want them anymore. This is like, it's not new. It might have more there might be a bigger light shine on it like this. You know, the light might have been shined on it. Narcissism has been sitting in the shadows for a long time. The toxic traits and toxic people have been sitting around in the darkness for a long time. But now social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all this stuff is being able to shine a bit brighter light on it. It's out there. It's shown more into the world. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it goes, y'all. So when you're dealing with narcissistic people, when you're dealing like our grandparents, like I said in the short video, could have been in toxic relationships. So imagine, and some of y'all understand this now, that dynamic. It's gonna open your eyes up to look at your grandparents' relationships, or your great grandparents, or your actual, or even your parents. You know what I mean? If you have older parents, not everybody's watching this is gonna be in their early 20s or mid 20s. If you're 45 years old, stumbling upon this, your parents might be in their 60s and 70s, and they might be toxic. Or one or both of them might be toxic as hell. And this might open your eyes to understand the dynamic. You know what I mean? This might open your eyes to understand that, like, damn, my grandma went through something. My grandma went through it. You know what I mean? Just in that mindset, just in that dynamic, just in what happened. Because it's been around for a long time. It's not new. Back in the day, older relationships, people, they couldn't leave. They had to stay together, especially in a male-dominated era. Probably back then. I mean, you can argue that point now, but like in a more male-dominated era back in the day, women couldn't even work. A lot of women couldn't even have jobs, so they couldn't leave. So if you had a man that had a job and you got married to that man, no matter what they did to you, it'd be hard for you to leave that person. Who you gonna depend on? You got kids now. You know what I'm saying? You getting your ass beat, and now you grow up. You can't leave this person. So y'all been together 40, 50, 60 years. Everybody looking at y'all relationship like, that's my grandma and my grandpa been together for 60 years and they still in love. Look at them, they still in love. They ain't talked to each other in months. They haven't talked to each other in a decade, y'all. When y'all got older and moved out, they stopped talking to each other. You see what I'm saying? They don't even talk to each other. They just go about their day. Don't even talk, sleep in separate beds. Y'all don't even realize it. Grandma hates your grandpa. I talked to people over one-on-ones, y'all. When it was an older woman, she was like, it was an older woman, but she was talking about she was older. She was like in her 50s, 60s, whatever. She was an older woman, and she was talking about how her mom, who was grandma aged, how her mom hated her father. And she woke up to my videos, help her see what was going on in the dynamic. She's like, her mom hated her father. Her father being abusive, lying, had kids outside the marriage, no accountability, blamed everybody else for everything, no emotional connection, didn't help raise the kids. They just stayed together for so long, right? But then it got to the situation where like the dad had got sick and went to the hospital, and the mom thought he was gone. The mom thought he was going to pass away, right? The mom thought that he was going to pass away. Make sure I'm telling this right, y'all. I could have got a piece wrong in it, but the mom thought that he was going to pass away. The mom, grandma age, thought that he was going to pass away, right? And guess what? He came back home. He survived. Whatever happened to him, he survived. He came back in a wheelchair, and they opened the door, brought him back in the house. He rolled his wheelchair in there. Looked at his wife. She looked at him, and she just started crying. You know, they thought she was crying tears of happiness. Some people thought she was crying tears of happiness. Oh, she's so happy her husband survived. No, she was mad. She's like, what do I have to do to get rid of him? Like, when is he gonna be gone? You see what I'm saying? They couldn't leave. Toxicity. Some of us was raised in toxic ass households. The parents couldn't leave, didn't want to leave each other because of the image, because of society, because of the church, or because they were abuse victims and didn't know how to leave. They were abuse victims and didn't understand what was going on. They didn't understand gaslighting back in the 70s or the 60s or the 40s or the 50s. They didn't understand gaslighting in the 30s and the 40s. They didn't understand that, y'all. They didn't understand that back in the day. You know, in the 1980s, the 1990s, they didn't understand what they were going through. In 2022, 2023, they might understand it better now. That's why I just tell people, see, y'all, a lot of the younger folks right now don't understand the opportunity that has presented itself for so many people. Like, you have the opportunity to have the knowledge that your grandma or your grandpa might not have had. Imagine your grandpa growing up in a household where your grandma toxic as hell, just manipulative as hell, trying to unalive him, to try to take his life, then cheated on him, had a baby out by somebody else, then did all this stuff, but they stayed together, right? Because they wanted to keep the family together, right? Wanted to stay together for the kids, whatever. Toxic as hell. Your little diminutive grandma is a narcissist. Think about that. Your diminutive grandma might be a sociopath. Imagine that. Imagine that. I saw a story the other day where this woman said, I saw a story on the news the other day. This woman said her mom raised her. She's like, my mom, I don't think my mom liked me. I don't think my mom cared about me raising me, but I thought she could have a better relationship with my kids. The grandma done unalive both her kids in different ways. Leaving, I think different ways or the same way, by leaving both of them in hot cars. The grandma done unalive two kids by leaving them both in hot cars in separate times, years apart. The first time was an accident, right? Second one, both the kids died in hot cars. You see what I'm saying? Grandma lost her mind. You just never know. It's not a new buzzword. Like, hurt women or hurt people throwing the word around. Yeah, there are people there are hurt people out here that are throwing the word narcissist around, but they're not diagnosing people. You can't diagnose them. You're not a therapist. You're not diagnosing anybody. You're just describing their behaviors. You know what you've been through. You know you understand what you've been through now because you've seen these videos. Now you have a name to it. Now you have a label to put on it. You don't have to diagnose them. Like, hey, when I talk to people one-on-ones, they never try to diagnose anybody. It's like, I think the person I was dealing with was highly narcissistic. Here's why. And we go into detail and we talk, and I help over my one-on-ones. We go into detail, we talk, I validate them. I was like, look, that does sound, that sounds toxic as hell. I don't try to diagnose people. I know people just like, Lee haven't does one-on-ones. He's like, no, hell no. But that's how it goes. It's not a new buzzword. It's been around, y'all. Your grandma might have been in a toxic relationship. Your grandma might be a survivor. Your grandpa might be a survivor. Your mom, your dad might be a survivor. You just never know. Because narcissistic, the toxic traits, toxic people, I do believe it can be passed down from generation to generation if left unchecked. You know what I mean? But it's a different dynamic. Some of our grandparents were absolutely in toxic relationships and battling to survive. They survived long enough to get here for you. You know what I mean? But anyways, y'all, I ain't gonna hold y'all. It's not a new buzzword. It has been around. The light is shining on it. But anyways, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode. Like and subscribe for more. And as always, mental illness is out. Peace. Like and subscribe.